The Great Divide. High-energy animation of sports fans screaming at a TV, face paint, snacks flying everywhere. Suddenly, the frame splits. On the other side, a person is peacefully reading a book in silence. It's the final minute of the World Cup or the Super Bowl. Millions of people are glued to their screens, hearts racing, palms sweating. Some are screaming at the top of their lungs, while others are literally in tears because 11 strangers on a field just lost a game. And then there's you, or maybe someone you know. While the world seems to be having a collective emotional breakdown, you're wondering if it's a good time to finally start that new novel or organize your desk. You don't feel the adrenaline. You don't feel the heartbreak. To you, it's just people chasing a ball. For a long time, society has labeled non-sports fans as boring or unpassionate. But according to neuroscience, that couldn't be further from the truth. The reality is, your brain might simply be wired differently. Today, we're diving deep into the psychology of why some people live for the game and why a massive group of people just doesn't care. Why we care in the first place. To understand why some people don't care, we first have to look at why so many people do. Humans are fundamentally tribal creatures. For thousands of years, being part of a group wasn't just a social choice, it was a survival mechanism. Your tribe protected you from predators, helped you hunt, and kept you warm. If you were alone, you were dead. Fast forward to the modern world. We don't have to fight off saber-toothed tigers anymore, so our brains have found a new way to satisfy that tribal itch. Sports. When a fan watches their team, their brain releases oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone. This is the same chemical that helps a mother bond with her child or makes you feel close to your family. For a sports fanatic, the team isn't just a business, it's their clan. Their brain literally tricks them into thinking these millionaire athletes are their brothers in arms. An addictive cycle. But there's another chemical at play. Dopamine. Have you ever wondered why sports fans get so addicted to the uncertainty of a game? It's called intermittent reinforcement. It's the most addictive reward schedule known to psychology, and it's the same principle that makes slot machines so effective. Because a fan never knows if their team will win or lose, every play becomes a microdose of dopamine. The anticipation, the clutch moments, the last-second goals, it creates a neurological high that non-fans simply don't experience. Recent fMRI studies show that watching a sports game activates the same reward centers in the brain as gambling. So when a fan is screaming at the TV, they aren't just being loud, they are literally riding a chemical roller coaster. Lower tribal instincts. So what about the people who don't care? Are they missing a chip in their brain? Not exactly. Psychologists suggest that people who don't obsess over sports often have what they call lower tribal instincts. Their sense of identity isn't as strongly tied to being part of a mass group. They tend to be more individualistic. A non-fan is more likely to say, I don't need to belong to something bigger to feel complete. Their self-worth is internal, not external. This is why they don't feel the us versus them mentality. While a fan might automatically hate someone wearing the rival team's jersey, a non-fan sees that person as just another human being. In fact, a 2019 study found that people with low interest in sports show significantly less in-group, out-group bias. In a world full of division, being a non-fan might actually make you more neutral and objective. Berging versus psychological distancing. There's also a fascinating concept called berging, or basking in reflected glory. When a team wins, fans say, we won. They take the victory as their own personal achievement. It boosts their testosterone and their ego. But when the team loses, they often switch to they lost, a form of psychological distancing to protect their self-esteem. Non-fans don't need this. Their self-esteem is more stable because it's not dependent on things they cannot control. They don't need a group of athletes in another state to win a game for them to feel like a winner in life. They find their wins in their own careers, their own hobbies, and their own personal growth. Where does the energy go? Now, some might say, doesn't that make you cold or unempathic? Actually, the research shows the opposite. Non-fans often score very high on empathy scales, but they practice empathy allocation. We all have a finite amount of emotional energy. While a sports fan might spend their emotional battery on the heartbreak of a lost season, a non-fan might direct that same energy towards social causes, creative projects, or deep personal relationships. A 2021 study found that people with low sports interest often score higher in openness to experience. They are more likely to find emotional highs in art, music, nature, or scientific discovery. They aren't boring, they just find meaning in different places. At the end of the day, not caring about sports isn't a defect, it's a different strategy for navigating the human experience. Whether you find your flow state in a crowded stadium or in a quiet library, both paths are valid. One group finds meaning in the epic narrative of the underdog story on the field, the other finds it in the quiet nuances of real life. So the next time someone asks you, did you see the game last night, and you feel that familiar wave of indifference, just remember, you're not broken, you're not boring, you're just playing a different game, one that might just have higher personal stakes. What about you? Are you a diehard fan or a proud observer? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the human mind. Thanks for watching.